A very warm welcome to all the ladies and gentlemen who have joined us here today. Really value your spending your time with us. So, what I will do is I'll just share my screen, and as per the agenda, I'll take you through a quick introduction about Everest IMS Technologies as a company, who we are, what do we do, not take more than 5 to 7 minutes. And then I'll hand it over to Satish to take you through the more interesting aspects of today's discussion in terms of what is ZTNA, why is it being recommended to replace VPN solutions with a ZTNA kind of software or solution, and what are its other advantages and benefits. So with that, let me start. I hope my screen is visible too. Hello? Belgian?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's visible if you go.
Okay. Great. So this is who we are. We are an Indian company based out of Bangalore in India, in the southern part of India. We are an AIOps product company. So we have multiple products based around the framework of AIOps, which is actually trying to improve the IT operations management, IT service management, IT infrastructure management kind of solutions, right? So in terms of a customer base or a target geography, we have a lot of active customers in India, the surrounding SAARC countries, including your Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and so on. A good presence in Southeast Asia, the likes of Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and other countries. And then we are also heading west. So we have recently engaged with Channel Next as one of our primary distributors for spreading actively in the Middle East region, so across all the GCC countries. And also we have few customers in US. Right? So currently we have around 250 plus active customers, and we have divided our product portfolio suite into two different major categories: enterprise and telecom. The reason we have kept telecom as a separate line of focus is our before we became Everest IMS Technologies in August 2017, we were a part of a big telecom giant known as KDDI Corporation, which was headquartered in Tokyo in Japan. And around that time, it was around a $43 billion company. So through them, we got a vast amount of experience in terms of the telco domain, right? In terms of what kind of projects they do, what other kind of solutions they need. And we were able to help them and their customers across the globe, including regions like not only Japan, Singapore, but also in the West, like France, New York, and so on. Right. So since we got that experience in telco domain, we thought let's have a separate portfolio just for the telcos. Whereas we also got a lot of interest from the other segments, including your BFSI, IT, ITES, manufacturing, and so on, healthcare. So we kept a separate product portfolio for the enterprise segment. Okay. So in terms of our vision and mission, we have kept it very simple. We want to enable our customers in their journey of digital transformation. Now, that's a pretty generic term, but to make it more specific, what we are trying to do is we are trying to help our customers, IT teams, to convert from a cost center to a business center or a profit center. So through our solutions, we are able to give them better insights or analytical insights into capacity planning, automate as much as possible in terms of the IT operations management, IT infrastructure management, and IT service management related activities. Then we are enabling organizations to streamline their service management across multiple departments. Instead of working as silos, how all the departments can work cohesively to accelerate certain tasks and day-to-day processes. The simple example can be an employee onboarding process, right, which requires the IT team, the operations team, the HR team to work together to ensure the employees are onboarded with all the formality, background checks, and everything completed in place. Right. So with companies experiencing exponential growth, we need to automate these kind of basic activities, and also ensure that we give a collaborative platform to all these different departments so that they can work together in a cohesive environment. And finally, digital transformation of physical objects. So basically, with our vast experience in IT monitoring and management, we thought, why not take it outside the envelope of IT, right? So what we have done is we have adopted similar frameworks for non-IT environments. So some SCADA environments. We have done projects like solar panel monitoring, mobile tower monitoring from an energy consumption perspective, and a lot of IoT projects where we are doing similar health and performance checks and monitoring, but instead of an IT network, we are doing it for non-IT environments. So that's what we are. What is our vision and mission? Then we have received some awards along the way, but here I would like to stress on the homework we have done in terms of certifications. So if you see, there are few icons at the bottom. So we have adopted a multi-pronged approach when it comes to certifications. So we have done some product related certifications. So one of our products, the InfraOn Desk, which is a IT service management tool, is certified on 13 processes as per ITIL guidelines. Right? So it is on par with the likes of Ivanti and some of the other more familiar names you might have heard in the market. Then from a process perspective, we have done some ISO certifications, and also keeping in mind the security component. And of late, we have seen so many security threats and attacks happening on companies similar to us. So we have gone ahead and done some security related certifications, be it ISO 27001, ISO 27034, and even the OWASP. So the OWASP is kind of a external agency vulnerability assessment, which ensures that none of the products that we have any open vulnerability in them as per the 10 guidelines of OWASP. Right? We are ensuring that whatever softwares we are selling out there in the market are safe and customers do not need to worry about the security aspect in them. Now, coming to the enterprise portfolio, as I said, we have a separate telco portfolio, so that we will not discuss today. Today's focus, since it's on InfraOn Secura, so this is the major portfolio that we have. So if you see, so there are three main products around your infrastructure operations management, IT service management, and network management, and so on. And all of them are based on the core concepts of AIOps, so where it does the complete observation, engagement, and also automate certain actions to not only detect certain issues happening in your IT infrastructure, but also take actions to rectify them, right? So instead of going too much into detail on these, we can keep that for a separate webinar. Today's focus will be on InfraOn Secura, which is one of our supporting products. So this goes more into the security domain, where a lot of companies have taken a keen interest in this because it's one of the hottest topics nowadays in the IT world. The topic or the word for that is ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access, right? So what is ZTNA? How does InfraOn Secura help you in terms of ZTNA or implementing ZTNA? And why are companies looking forward to tools like InfraOn Secura to replace their age-old VPNs is something I will leave it to Satish to discuss and take it forward. So any questions till now? Anybody, feel free to let me know. Okay. So that's it from my end. I will just hand it over to Satish to take it forward.
Just let me just share my screen.
Sure.
Are you able to see the screen now?
Yeah, Satish, you can see.
Okay. So today I would what I would try to do is give a very simple and easy understanding in terms of where does zero trust, especially for remote access, really work? Why is it actually required? What are the types of use cases that it's currently actually looking after? Right? So overall, the concept of zero trust came in with a very simple frame of mind, right? It actually talks about saying that anybody, it could be somebody who's internal to the network or external to the network. This model actually assumes that they could attack and compromise systems. It could be applications, it could be network, it could be servers, it could be anything. That's the basis of his assumption. And anybody who requests for access of any of these systems or applications, they have to be authenticated, authorized, and then granted the least possible access with respect to the work that they are supposed to be doing. Right? This is a very simple, though it sounds very simple, there's a very complicated way of implementing it, but this is what is the basis of zero trust, saying I don't trust anyone who enters my system needs to be authenticated, authorized, and only then I will grant them what access they'll actually require. Add on to that is everything that is done by the person who's entering the network would also be audited thoroughly, right? So that any future changes that needs to be done to policies are very well taken care of. But why is zero trust coming in nowadays, right? It's becoming very popular. It's something that's very fundamental, and I think most of us would know it. There's a proliferation of systems, right? The networks are getting more and more complicated. The infra is sitting in your premises and outside your premises. There are a lot of apps. So you have some apps that are hosted inside your network. There are some apps that it's there in the cloud or in other places which you don't even know where it is hosted. The amount of data that is getting generated is so much. I mean, it's an outburst. And also especially with remote working now, the identity of the person is always a big question. We are always questioning if the person who's actually logging in is the person who's supposed to log in or it's somebody else, right? So these are the very simple facts due to which zero trust actually came in. Of course, we always had the traditional firewalls and other systems which were there, but here the emphasis is usually given on once they step into your network, how do we really protect ourselves from the different activities which they are actually doing, right? That's how zero trust actually came in, and that's why zero trust is gaining more and more importance as an add-on security layer to whatever was already existing in your network. So what is the need, right? There are multiple needs of remote access. One obviously is a collaboration and productivity, which we are kind of doing. It could be a WebEx, or it could be different kind of systems which are there, which is also a kind of remote access, and we understand things and do. But there are very key parts of why a remote access is nowadays required. First one is work from home. Especially now, a lot of people are working from their homes and they're trying to access systems that are deployed inside the network or on the cloud. There's a lot of support that is required. Support is nowadays outsourced, right? There are a lot of managed service players that are available. There are a lot of, say you have a network of different OEMs. There are a lot of OEMs who actually come into your network and actually look at what problems are occurring, or they want to do some changes, they want to upgrade it. So there are a lot of external support that is nowadays required for enterprises and SMEs. And third parties are actually taking care of. So you're actually allowing an unknown person to come into your network by itself. So IT support is a large case by itself. Additionally, there's a large use case of compliance and auditing, right? Especially if you look at banks, any financial institutes, or you even look at, say, an IT service company who's servicing external, vendors who are outside the country, right? There's a very strict adherence to compliance. It could be your SOC 2 compliance, it could be ISO 27001 compliance. A lot of evidences need to be captured for that. The remote access also needs to be supporting these kind of evidences so that it can be submitted to the authorized people to scrutinize it.
So I'm going to look at this work from home IT support and compliance as the key for especially the remote access that is currently in deep requirement for. Right? But yeah, traditionally we were using remote. I mean, the simplest answer is why don't we give a VPN, right? So traditionally we were giving VPNs for these kind of access, but it had a lot of loopholes by itself. One is there is no way of controlling a VPN user once he comes into your network. It takes a lot of policies. The control is very, very difficult to actually do, right? So, and it's very difficult to configure a policy once the person lands into your network by itself. So, as simple as that is, once he comes into your network, horizontal access for him is very easy. He can be going to different machines. He can be going to different networks, and controlling that becomes very, very difficult. Added to it, there is a possibility that the hardware that is using or the software he is using in his laptop, especially with this remote working, they could be compromised. There could be viruses sitting in there and actually pumping in data or things like that. So using compromised hardware or using compromised software also becomes a big headache by itself, right? Again, identity is we are not sure who's actually logging in because again, it's coming from remote, and also audit is completely missing most of the times in VPN, because once he lands into your network with a VPN, we practically don't know what he's doing. You cannot record it. You don't know what he's actually doing. This is these are the major aspects in which there was a lot of definition that actually happened, and zero trust actually was born by itself. So NIST is one of the leading agencies who actually give a lot of recommendations for different cybersecurity policies. So they actually came out in 2020 as a very simple, nice framework by itself, which actually talks about how zero trust needs to be working, right? So if you look at it, there's a policy enforcement point, right? This is a system where is actually enforcing all the policies when an untrusted person actually comes into your network. This policy enforcement point actually interacts with an administrator or what we call as a policy engine, or in other terms, a control plane, which actually takes care of telling what are the kind of systems, what are the kind of access levels this particular person or the person who's asking for the access is currently enabled to. Not only that, it goes to a further level up. It actually even checks for security parameters in terms of the person coming in, as well as security parameters of the device that is actually getting accessed for. If all of these things are satisfied, only then the person is allowed to actually even enter the device or the resource that the enterprise resource, what they call, is being allowed to access, right? So this could be anything. It could be a networking device, it could be a server, or you're doing a remote desktop. It could be anything that is happening. So by this kind of a very simple implementation, what we are ensuring is whatever systems are inside the network, they're completely not visible to the person who's sitting outside. We are actually controlling in terms of what is visible and what is not visible, and how the visibility is actually for the person. Additionally, anybody who tries to come in will not be having any access, because if you're not able to identify the person, or if the person is actually coming in a time frame which he is not supposed to come in, it's simple. The system doesn't even allow him to come inside. Right? It's a very, very simple system which can be implemented, and a lot of security parameters can be fed into it. And if you look at it, Abhirup was giving us certain information about the product called Secura. Secura is something very similar to this kind of a framework by itself, right? So what we have is a gateway, right? A gateway that sits in your network, or it could sit on the cloud also if it's required. And this actually is a simple web page. A person accesses this web page, and then he authenticates himself. So depending on the end customer, we can actually look at, say, what kind of two-factor authentication is there, how do we confirm the person is the same with mobile apps or things like that. A lot of methodologies are there. So depending on the company, we decide what is the best way to it. The engine actually checks if this person is allowed to get into the network or not, how much access does the person actually have, and if these and these parameters are actually satisfied, the connection is actually passed to an on-prem system, which actually works as a gateway. Now, this gateway, before passing the request to the device that he has to go to, starts recording whatever he does. So I'll give you an example. Say a person, say a service engineer, a third-party service engineer is coming into my network and saying, okay, there is a service ticket that is there for a particular server, and I need to access it, right? So when the access is actually happening, the system starts recording it, right? So every click that is there, every mouse movement, everything he does is actually recorded, and it is made sure that whatever he is doing is actually correct and real. A third party, basically the administrator of the system, can actually verify if what he's doing is right or wrong, and he can even disconnect and unallow any further proceeding in case any problem is happening. The system actually goes one level up when it's a CLI connection, especially say there's a network engineer actually coming in and looking at a particular device. We can actually control the kind of commands that can be given depending on the person who's actually coming in, right? So a simple example is he's not supposed to, a person, L1 engineer does not have access, should not shut down a particular network device. So he simply cannot even type shut down and press enter. The system will not allow him to do it, and it will break the connection, his connection by itself, and he will not be allowed to enter the system anytime before, unless until the administrator allows him again. So same way, a CLI connection can be live viewed by the administrator, can be live viewed by the administrator also. So this way, it actually the entire connection becomes very secure. Everything what he is doing is well recorded. There is actually policies that are actually mandating, saying that what is the level of access he is actually given to the thing, and the system is automatically log in for him. So you actually don't even have to share your username passwords with the users. The system will take care of logging it. This is the current system that is available. Of course, we are enhancing it to a very large extent. So a couple of releases that is going to come in, wherein security parameters from SIEM, ITSM, or other identity systems are also going to be fed in. Are also going to be fed into this, and we can actually do a lot of recording, and also we can also look at SaaS applications also being a part of this by itself, right? So what are the unique points of Secura? So as I said, you don't require any VPN connection to get into your network. There is a web page, and once you're going through your web page, which is enabled with 2FA and more access controls, the system actually decides what you have to do, right? It is impossible to have any kind of horizontal access once you get, because the web page actually gives you what are the devices actually that you have access to, and to what level of access you actually have. Any auditing, it's everything you're doing on the system is completely audited. Everything you do on the system can be watched by a third-party person so that he can monitor and control it. Any CLI there is completely controlled. You cannot give any kind of commands. You cannot do anything which is not in your purview at all. So this is what makes the system very, very unique, especially when it's used in banks. It is used in, say, in ITS systems or in manufacturing, wherein access becomes very critical, important. This becomes very simple. Of course, with no reliance on VPN and the system actually sitting very close to the end devices, the speed of access of the system also drastically increases a lot, because the bandwidth requirement is drastically controlled. Right? So simply, putting to an end to the entire thing, where are we using it? We can use it as a complementary or to replace VPNs. You can have evidences for SOC 2, ISO, and compliances. Any kind of privilege access in management can be done with the system because all the passwords are stored by us, and we don't even reveal it to the person who's actually entering it. Anywhere you see third party vendor access, this is practically a mandate that is there. Of course, remote working is a large example, and of course, the most important part is the auditing part. Everything is recorded. They can be played back, and you can actually view as and when it is actually doing. So this is how a simple zero trust system can be used to replace your VPNs, and people who are coming and doing different activities are audited and actually looked very into carefully, very well. This is a very simple presentation. I'll end it here, and I'm open to questions now, so that we can have a more interactive action in interactive session here.
Any questions? Anybody? Thanks, Satish. Maybe we can unmute all the participants. They can directly ask questions if any.
I will do one thing. We'll unmute everybody. So someone wants to really have the discussion. It's good.
Sure.
So there's a question which saying can we control CLI commands? How we know different commands in different OEMs? So the system actually is fed in with a extremely large set of commands by itself. Any commands that is not known to the system, it is very simple regular expressions that you can actually write and put it into the system. It's a simple framework where you can feed any amount of data, and the control happens based on that.
Yes, I think just to add to that, we also have a very detailed profiling that we do for a role-based access control, right? Where we can control which users will have privilege to what set of commands. More of a command whitelisting, blacklisting. I think somebody's asking zero trust is available in firewall. Who is the nearest competitor? Satish, you want to answer that?
Okay.
I think everyone could. Everyone could ask questions. They can unmute and ask questions.
Okay, there are a lot of competitors in the ZTNA market. Especially, there are a couple of large players like Cisco and Zscaler who have been doing very well in this. Of course, the way they implement is different. Every player comes with a different way of implementation. Where Cisco and say Zscaler comes with a thing of I will control your entire network. We come with a very simple way of doing it, in terms of we give you a web page and you can do everything from there, right? Whereas you don't have to change too much in your network, you don't have to do too many changes, or we don't have to really worry about doing too many. You don't have to worry about doing too many changes in the firewalls and things like that to do it, right? So it's a different ways in which the zero trust is actually implemented.
Thanks, Satish. I think Jagam is asking how much time period it's saving the recording. How long can we store the recording?
It purely depends on the storage you give us, right? So there is no control over. There's no really. We don't say that it only for one hour or 2 hours. It's purely on the storage available. More storage you throw in, it just can keep storing it.
I think
Right.
there's no
So
restriction as such.
there
It
is no
depends on
restriction.
the company policy or their
Policies and
storage
things.
policies.
Because the reason we have done that is certain compliance is actually required to store recordings for multiple years. So it could be even there are 6 year, 7 year periods which are there. So the system doesn't remove it unless until the administrator is actually coming and purging data out.
Right. And Mukhtar is saying Fortinet has inbuilt ZTNA. So any points in terms of how this is different?
Yeah, so a lot of companies, especially say firewalls, have come in with the concept of ZTNA in the firewalls, but the capability to record and create evidences are not available, right? They have control. They definitely can do a lot of control, but the capability of auditing and recording is completely missing in those systems. That is where this system actually comes with a lot of differentiator by itself. And similarly, I think your CLI access control, things like that are not available in most of the systems. It's very unique to us. So just implementing in the firewall is not enough. You need to really go step inside and be closer to the systems and devices which are actually getting protected. Firewall is still for us it's very external, but yeah, they do have. I will not deny it at all.
Okay, great.
There is one person's question is like, where are the secrets like password and private keys, all these things kept?
Sensitive data, right?
So the identity is usually maintained in the AD that you have. If it's a network, it could be a radius tech access. Rest of the passwords are also, or rest of the passwords of the systems are actually in the vault that we actually maintain.
So all the sensitive data is stored very securely. So
it's very secure. It's all encrypted, and there's no way of even getting it out.
Correct.
So is there any way internal threats also can be mitigated? The risk of internal threats?
Yeah, so if you look at it, the way the systems are actually configured now, once you have this kind of a box sitting in your network, the first thing that is done is all the network devices and all the servers, whatever be it, the configurations are a very small configuration is done, which says that any remote access is allowed only from the Secura system. Nowhere else you can actually do a remote access from it, right? As soon as you set this simple policy, be it internal, be it external, they have to come through our system to get into their to get into this particular into the server or into the network device by itself. Right? So it doesn't really matter if the person is internal or external, they always have to come through the simple web page that we have.
So do you think it's actually replacing a PAM solution kind of things, or?
It usually sits as complementary to PAM actually, right? Because PAM actually does a lot of more authentication and things like that, but we kind of sit complementary and we actually feed data from the PAM to understand the security parameters.
So that's another benefit, Belgian. If you look at it, you don't need to rip and replace a PAM solution.
Yeah, we don't
have
have
to
to
work in conjunction with it.
Right. So because PAM actually even will say, I want to change the passwords of these particular systems every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week. We don't have that kind of features, right? So we can actually work complementary to a PAM and then look at making the access more stronger.
Correct. So Prakash is asking, is there any demo portal? Prakash, we are coming up with a demo portal very soon, but for now, if you're really interested, we can get in touch with you. We have a evaluation package. We can share that with you, and we are also planning to upload a lot of videos on YouTube where you will get more details in terms of what was explained today about the features, use cases, and also the configuration related information. Let's get in touch, Prakash, and I should be able to help you out with more details on Secura. Mukhtar has asked a very important question, Satish.
The license.
License, yes.
We have kept the licensing very, very simple. We have just showed the number of sessions concurrent sessions that the system is going to handle, right? There is no limitations on the number of users or the number of end devices that is actually there. So it's a very simple licensing structure that we have.
Great. So suppose there are 20 people, but still at a time, maximum 5 people will be accessing in parallel. Yeah. So you need 5 licenses.
You just need five licenses. You don't require 20, or it could be even hundreds of devices behind. It doesn't matter to us. You can register any number of devices, register any number of users in the system.
Great.
Satish, in Palo Alto, specifically this region, one of the reseller was asking like, what about your infrastructure? STNA providers infrastructure is also very important when we consider a vendor, because when vendors like Cisco, as you told, we find it okay. It's a vendor which is acceptable by all over the world. What about your case? What about the component? If in case
So the current release, what we have done is it's a gateway, right? So the system actually sits in your network. As a vendor, I have no access to it.
Great.
Right. So it's you just need to give us a VM or a physical server. We'll deploy it on it, and it sits in your network. I am not going to. We have, as an OEM, we have no complete node. We can't touch it also. Right.
Okay.
The cloud model is coming up. Of course, cloud model will be on AWS, which is very secure by itself, right? And we're going to have a lot of security parameters put on it specifically, right? But the current model, the gateway actually sits in your network. So practically, we as an OEM or anybody, they cannot do anything. Only you have access to it.
Right. Okay. So then Prakash again asks, is it trust-based license? So
No,
Prakash, yeah, Satish, go ahead.
It's a control. The concurrent sessions are controlled, so
yes.
you can actually.
So you cannot go beyond the number of concurrent licenses that you take, right? What is actual support and SLA? Okay, so support-wise, see, as an organization, we have multiple levels of support. We have a dedicated technical support team. So we offer both business hours as well as 24/7 support. So, depending on the type of customer or the type of requirement, both options are available.
What is the scope of this secure access in terms of it includes user, network apps, etc., everything, right? You have something else to talk about?
Sorry, can you just repeat your question, please?
What is the scope of the secure access? Does it include user, network, apps, etc.?
Currently, it is network, your servers, and your desktops. The next release will also have apps.
All right.
Okay. How can we remove VPN access with ZTNA? I think that's what point was already discussed, right, Satish?
Yeah, that point was discussed. So practically, if you look at it, you don't require VPNs. See, where have we been using VPNs? VPNs are typically used for giving an end user access to your network, right? With this system, you don't need to rely on VPN at all. You just can enable a user here, tell from what day to what day the user will be active, or what kind of timing the user is going to be active, and that's about it. So set up policies in terms of what is he going to access, right? So and then that's it. The system actually starts monitoring whatever you're doing. With the web page, he can actually log in. He can do VPNs from the web page. He can do CLI access from the web page. He can do remote access from the web page. And then the system actually starts kicking in, doing the recording, doing policy enforcement on it. So you don't require VPN to any longer come into your system by itself. All we require is one public IP, from where the person will start accessing the web page.
Right. Thank you so much, Satish. Okay, any other questions? DLP is included, and at what level DLP is available? Mohammed, can you be a bit more specific? I think this is slightly different from a DLP solution.
Yeah, it's not very close to a DLP solution.
Right.
So it is more of no, that we'll have taking data out. You'll have to use a DLP separately, like as a complementary solution to this. We will not interfere in that as of now. ZTNA doesn't really work with the DLP part of it.
So here, I think the main advantage is irrespective, especially in a post-COVID world where people are working from home, from cafes, from anywhere, irrespective of where the user is, without having to connect to a VPN, they can securely get access to the critical devices or even their own devices which are in the office network. Right. So, how are you different from other vendors like Sophos? Okay, so Subir, I think Satish mentioned something similar about Fortinet. So be it Sophos or be it a Fortinet firewall, there are certain restrictions that the hardware vendors put in place. Whereas here, this being a complete software, you're free from all those restrictions. Right? And it can work in any environment. So today you have a Sophos, tomorrow maybe you replace it with a checkpoint. That you will not be constrained by that particular vendor or OEM. Okay, Mohammed has asked users can use personal laptop or company laptop if needed. So if it's personal laptop and they can download company data, how will you protect that?
No, we don't look at the data. Of course,
That is DLP,
in
right?
terms of the identity verification, we can always look at from what device he is actually coming in, right?
Correct.
Is it an authorized device or a non-authorized device? That can be done. But we don't. As I said, the data part is something that the ZTNA doesn't really take care of. Once
Right.
once we are able to identify it's a valid user and he has been authorized and and is there authorized, he will be allowed to go into the particular system that is actually put on.
Correct. Okay, so any further questions, or else if the audience is interested, since we have some more time, I can quickly take you through some of the partner program benefits we offer as Everest IMS Technologies. Just Belgian, do you think we should take that up?
Yeah, I think a couple of more questions. For example, the Mohammed is asking about the data. I think other Axops is providing restrictions of data.
Yeah, so currently we
Basically,
don't do that.
Currently, we don't.
yeah,
do that.
basically it's not about data. It's about the laptop, the device.
It's about the
If
access.
it's if it's a personal laptop, then we'll not give the access to that particular laptop itself, rather than looking into the data. I hope that's the right way.
Yeah. Great. So let me quickly share my screen. I think since we have quite a few gentlemen here who have joined us from different SI companies.
Yeah.
So let me quickly take you through the
It will
partner
be helpful
program
for
benefits.
them. What are the benefits they're going to get it when they propose this to their clients? Because basically nowadays it's not just about a laptop selling or about a solution product. How well they can sell this solution or advise this solution to their end user, and doing that, what are the benefits they are going to get it and all that.
Right.
If you could quickly share, well and good.
Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yep.
Okay, so these are some of the benefits. We have majorly 3 different partnership levels: registered gold and registered silver and gold. So registered is the first level where you don't have any quotas. You need to have a valid company website and email domain and a reselling identity. Then we have silver and gold. Both of them have quotas, but if you see the target quota amounts are we have kept it at very low, so that we encourage more and more partners to tie up with us, quota partners, and there are a lot of additional benefits that you get. So additionally, you need to have some certifications done if you are a silver and gold. For silver, it's 1 sales, 1 pre-sales. For gold, it's 2 sales and 1 pre-sales. There is some very negligible or minimal revenue thresholds for each, 25K and 50K, but the benefits actually are way better. So if you see what all we offer base rebates. So based on how much business you do in a year, you get additional discounts or cashback. Then we have deal protection, which is like whenever you come to us with an opportunity, we will ensure that the deal is protected with your organization for X number of days, depending on your partnership level. Then we will train and enable your team members from sales, pre-sales, and even from a delivery or implementation standpoint, depending on what extent you want to go from a solution or a service delivery company. Then we have performance accelerators. So you'll get certain quotas. In case you overachieve, we will definitely reward you further. Right. So in case your target is say 50K, you achieve 75K or 100K, you will definitely get more rewards from us. And one of the most exciting things, this is for all the sales account managers out there, right? This is basically you get us an opportunity, you close it. We also have certain individual sales representative incentive campaigns. So these are done quarterly. So no simple example can be you close a deal of say 10,000 USD, you get a flat 1% of the overall deal value as a individual sales rep incentive. So these are the differences in terms of the different partnership types. So for deal protection, it's 45 days, 60, 120. And for silver and gold, you get these additional benefits in terms of your back-end rebates, performance accelerators. We also do a lot of marketing collaboration where we can do joint events. We can even do case study collaborations. And we also have a lot of lead gen programs that we run internally or through some third-party campaigns. And as a silver and gold partner, you also get access. So we will share these leads with you when you are quota-based partner for us. Then we have a very simple but very effective partner portal where once you register with us, you will get the login details for this. So this you can directly access and use to register any deal so that you get these deal protection a number of days. And we ensure that no other partner is allowed to step in. Okay. These are some pointers in terms of how to be an ideal partner. I'll share this with you. Very interesting. Any questions, let me know. Any questions on the partnership program front, feel free to ask. Anybody, anything?
I think nothing more.
Okay.
It's over 1 hour, so let's.
Fine then thank you so much. Thanks all of you, all the ladies and gentlemen who have joined us today. Really feel happy that you have been able to spend this time with us in spite of it being a normal working weekday. Right. So hope that all of you have taken away something from this session today. Thanks a lot to Satish for the beautiful and simple presentation on ZTNA. Although it's a buzzword, it sounds very complicated for a lot of people, but I think what he did was he very nicely explained it in the simplest way possible. Right. So I hope all of you have got some understanding now in terms of what is ZTNA, how is InfraOn Secura helping companies to implement ZTNA, and then why should you talk to customers, or even if you are an organization, why should you consider replacing your VPN solution with a ZTNA, right? And lastly, we did touch upon the partner program benefits. So anybody who is interested, feel free to reach out to us or even our distributor Channel Next, the entire team, Belgian, Jijin, Rosella. They're anyways always available to you to help you out in terms of any queries with respect to Everest AMIS technologies. That's it from my end. Thank you so much. Belgian, over to you.
Thank you. I don't want to keep everyone waiting. It's a busy day. Thank you so much. We'll be keep in touch with you. Everyone will be getting the recorded video in case if someone missed out in the early time. Please watch it out. Any doubts, you can reach it out to us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Satish and Abru.
Thank you everyone.
Thanks everyone. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too.